Hi friends, it's Amy at Doki Doki Forest, and today I wanted to share with you the page I created for Junk Journal July Day 9, and the prompt was balance. Junk Journal July is hosted by Meg Journals, and it's in collaboration with Get Messy Art, and I will have their information down below. So for this prompt balance, I had some different ideas that were floating through my head, and I was thinking about scales, and I was thinking about both like scales that you would weigh on and then dragon scales. I had a lot of different ideas of things I was going to do, but in the end I decided to sort of draw the balance between like opposites, good and evil, cute and a little more harsh, or, someone who's really positive and someone who's not positive. Not that they're negative, but, they just have a more pessimistic outlook. So I wanted to draw these two fairies that were opposites, and they sort of balance each other. So I have one here that's kind of fluffy and happy and flowery and has hearts all over her clothes and, curly hair with, flowers in there. And then the other one is frowning and looks more serious and has horns and has like a Jack Skellington. It looks like a Jack Skellington bow tie on. And her wings are folded and they're more bat-like. And the page I'm working with is really small. So I had drawn like a bird wing sort of style wing for the other character, but I cut it off because I was thinking it was going to go way off the page. So then for coloring, I wanted to do a similar thing. I wanted to kind of go monotone with each one. So for the darker fairy, I wanted her to be indigo, and for the lighter fairy, I wanted her to be pink. So different shades of pink. And for the dark fairy, I really just used indigo. I just used either more or less paint. And I just kept layering. And I do realize I'm taking quite some liberties with these prompts, creating characters and stuff, and just sort of taking, I think balance could have been, color balance and that sort of thing. Or maybe just balance when you're creating a journal page, kind of making sure things feel right on the page, like they're not too heavy in one place and too light in another. And I was going to do that, but then I don't know, these characters just sort of pop into my head, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try it out and see how it works, and maybe what I'm thinking will come across, and maybe it won't, but I'm just going to take a chance. So yeah, the pink fairy here is, sort of like just this really happy fairy, and the other one is just like, like not having it. And at one point I was thinking, maybe they're sisters. They're sisters who are just complete opposites, and they don't really understand each other. They might try, or maybe not, but they don't really understand each other. Somehow they balance each other out, though. If they're both in the same room, then you get a sense of balance. If you're only hanging out with one, then maybe not so much. You're getting all of one kind of personality and not the other. And I've gone really dark with the indigo there, and that was sort of on purpose and sort of not, but I think this indigo color is one of my favorite colors in the watercolor palette, so I'm okay with that. But I was just doing some shading, and then I sort of went a little too far, and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna make this, make these shades a little bit darker than I was planning, but that's okay. And then I just touch up the ink because a lot of times it gets lost, especially if you're using the shimmer colors. The regular watercolors, not too much, but I used some shimmer where I added the yellow gold, and some of the pink colors are shimmery as well. And I find that those really do tend to make that black ink just sort of disappear in places. So just wanted to define things a little bit more. Plus my sketch was like a little bit messy, which I like the look of in some places, like on the horns. I like it being wiggly lines, but then on the wings I wanted them to look just a little bit neater. Not too neat, but just a little bit. And then just a little gel pen here and there, which didn't show up too much on the pink, but of course it shows up on the indigo. Not so much on the light part, but I mean, you can still see it on the pink, the light pink. That showed up well on the pink. What am I talking about? I think that showed up pretty good. And here is the hand and wing that I chopped off initially. I made a huge mistake on the hand and I put the thumb in the wrong spot. So I went over it with my gel pen to sort of erase it. I should have used a Posca pen, but I used a gel pen, and then I got that smudging effect on the hand. But I decided I wanted to add this back in so I could have her like casting some magic. And I thought, well, that hand is already a little bit dark. So I think I'm going to have it so that the dark fairy is sort of taking over her fingers a little bit there. And you can just see the hint of indigo on the right side of the magic. So it's like the indigo fairy's like, I'm going to just balance out your magic a little bit. So here they are. My balance page is done. We've got our dark fairy and our light fairy. And there's the magic. And light fairy has no clue the dark fairy has interfered a little bit over there. And that does it for day 9. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you again soon.